Jessie from Squeegee & Ink, and in this video I'm going to show you how to get the most out of your screens and designs. This video is really for people printing their own designs and maybe they have their own brand. However, I have this colour chart download which is free on our website, which I'm sure that every print shop will find useful. Just stick around to see how you can get that one for free. If you're getting screens made by someone like us, for example, where we make pre-exposed screens and we send them out to you to print for yourselves, and you're doing multicolored designs a little bit like this, you're going to end up spending quite a lot of money because you need lots of screens. So I'm going to show you how we use our screen setups to get the most out of our screens and maybe even get multiple designs and placements using the least amount of screens possible. We just finished printing this design, which is 5 colours, and you can see the screens in the background. So lining up 5 colours on a design takes quite a lot of time and it's using quite a few screens. So we were thinking that we could use maybe some of the layers from this design and print them onto some purple shirts that we happen to have in the studio. So I'm going to show you how we tweak the design and we get the most out of this setup so that we're not having to take this down, because we're only printing 30 of each design, but we're going to make them as different as possible but using the same layers. We've created this garment colour chart and it is basically showcasing all of the different colours that Stanley Stella currently hold and that you can get hold of. And what it is just a really handy way of having all the colours and the little files downloaded so that you can quickly do mock-ups for your studio. It's free to download on our website and I'm going to put a link in the description below, and hopefully you'll find this really helps your studio and you'll become much more rapid with doing your mock-ups. One small point about using this is that Stanley Stella own the rights to this, so they allow you to use it as mock-ups, but only if you have an account with Stanley Stella. This is something that's free to do. You can go on their website, make an account, and then you can use like their whole marketing assets range. So all we've done is downloaded them all, put them in one handy file, which just means that you don't have to keep going back to their site and downloading, and you'll get the gist of it when I walk you through it. I've just opened the garment colour chart up in Illustrator. You can notice that it's saved as a PDF. As soon as you open up it in Illustrator, you get all the access to the normal editing abilities. What you can see that we've done is we've downloaded every single colour and we've also labelled them with the colour name that Stanley Stella gave those shirts. So for example, we've got white, off-white, vintage, natural, and all these little moderations of every single colour. What we've done initially is we've locked down the t-shirts, and that's just so that you can quickly put your artwork over the different colours and check that the colours are working together of the shirt and with your artwork. The way that you can use this is you can find a colour that works and then you can actually go Object, Unlock All, and it'll just free up all of the little t-shirts so that you can drag them off and make other files with the new design on and make your mock-ups in the usual way. It's just saving you a lot of time from having to go to their site, download all the shirts, and it's just going to make it a lot more efficient when you're doing your mock-up designs. So if I put them all back and I'm going to lock them again, so I'm going to go Object, Lock, I could say lock the selection because I've got everything selected. I'm now ready to start putting in my artwork design and mocking it up and seeing if I can get any more variations out of the layers that I already have. I've got my artwork here. I've got a front design, which is going to be a centre, and I've got the back piece that I've already printed. So I'm just going to copy and paste it into the garment colour chart. One really important step is because these aren't to scale, we're actually going to be reducing the scale of our artwork to fit these, because if they're all to scale, this file would be enormous. So one really quick tip is to actually go Object and Expand. That means that if you have strokes on your design, they're not going to get all fat when you scale your artwork down onto these little t-shirts. The design that I already have is this black, so I'm going to just drag my artwork over the black design just to show you what I mean by how we're using this chart. So I'm going to drag it down like that. In real life, this actually printed at 35 by around 50 centimeters, so it's almost a full back piece. I would say it's roughly like that. And then my front design is going to go center chest on the front, and it's actually relatively large. It's around the 10-11 centimeter mark. I think the placement's roughly there. So I already know I want that, and I already know that I happen to have in stock some Indigo Hush Stanley Stella shirts. But what I need this chart to do is to make sure that the colours that I already have already set up on the press and the ink on the screens is going to work on the Indigo Hush, and I'm not going to get any unexpected clashes that I can't quite visualise in my head. I need to mock them up. So I'm going to copy the two designs and I'm going to drag them over and try and find Indigo Hush and layer them on there. Indigo Hush is just down here, so I'm going to drag them over. So it almost looks good, but I want to remove the red because I don't believe that this red and purple work together. If I select the red, I can select the red all over the image, wherever it is on the design, and I can go select, same, fill color and stroke. And I can either go and lock that other design, or I can just eraser out any red that's been selected here. So I'm going to take my eraser tool, make the brush a little bit smaller, and I've just popped all the red out of that because I've got it selected at the moment. Take all the red out. And it still works in my opinion. It hasn't taken out too much of the very important information, and I think it looks quite cool and it's high contrast enough. I'm going to go and look to see if this particular design works on other colours of shirt as well, just to show you an example of where it might not be as appropriate as a design. If I take the design from the black again, I can show you what I mean. If I drag it over, say on, I don't know, sage, it's starting to look a bit washed out because the contrast of the yellow and the cream, it just doesn't look very good, and the yellow on the sage in his eyes looks pretty horrible. So I'll know for certain that that's quite a bad colourway and it's not going to work in my design. This is the type of circumstance where this particular chart is really handy because it's just going to mean that I can really rapidly overlay my design on all the different colours and maybe find some unexpected colourway that I would have never anticipated. The purpose of this video is to show you how to get the most out of your screens and your setup. Therefore, by doing this, all I'm doing is reducing one of the layers in my design that I already have on press. I'm just going to be not printing the red colour when I get around to my Indigo Hushes in a second. That means that it's much more efficient, and all I'm doing is just taking the squeegee off the press so I don't accidentally print red when I'm printing these Indigo Hush shirts. For this particular design, we actually paid an artist to design it for us. They did this really cool back piece, but we wanted something that worked on the front that was of the same kind of style and tied the front and the back of the shirt together. So all we did is, because we've paid for this design, we're allowed to modify it to some extent, and we've basically just taken one of these little flowers and used the same font but just shaped it in a different way and put it on the front. And we're going to do this. So we've taken the same font, the same little flower element, and they still work together really nicely and they tie across both designs. They're using the same coloured ink as well, which means that when we're mixing our ink, we only have to do a little bit more and we'll be able to print all of the fronts with the same colours. And it's just a really good way of making sure that you're getting the most for your money when you're paying people to create your designs for you. There is one more way where you could make your design work for you even harder, and that would be if you took this centre design here. When we're printing this particular t-shirt, we've decided to print it at 10 centimeters wide across the chest. But if you reduce that to 7 centimeters wide, you'd actually be able to use the same screens and setup, ink colors and everything, and you'd be able to put that design as a sleeve design instead, because you'd just be switching out the platen, and if it was 7 centimeters it would fit on the platen, and that would mean that you can even make one of these t-shirts have a little sleeve, one of them have a center design, and that also extends the kind of life of your screens and means that you've got t-shirts that look a little bit different on the shelf when your customer comes to browse and decide which ones they prefer. One other thing to think about is that when you're dragging your design over all the different t-shirts, you do still have the option of doing a color change. So for example, if that red isn't working on a purple or an indigo hush, I could have thought, okay, I'm going to change my reds out to an orange or something, and maybe that might work a little bit better. So you can still change the colours and make them work for different colourways, and it's just meaning that you're not having to take down screens, but you might have to do a bit more effort in changing the colours of the inks. I'm happy with how the design looks on the indigo hush right now, and I already have my heaters on, my flash is nice and hot, all my inks are still on the screen, and I'm ready to start printing with those. And in the background I'm going to have my front design exposing on my screen, so that as soon as I take down my backs I can throw my fronts on and print both different colourways at the same time. We've just finished printing the indigo hush version of that design, and when it's next to the black one I think it's different enough so that it can sit alongside it in the shop. And I've also gone ahead and isolated some parts of the designs to make into different stickers, and I think they work really well as well. I think I like the baboon one the best. These also go in as freebies on our online orders and things like that, so it was a good use of making the artwork extend a little bit further and making more products out of it. We happen to have our own sticker machine in house, but if you want some stickers for your own brand, we've left a link in the description below for Sticker Mule, and you can even get £8 off if you use that link. I hope you liked this video. Please remember to like, follow and subscribe, and you can also get involved in our community poll, which is under the community tab in our YouTube channel. And also we've got the podcast that you can listen to, and you can catch Printer's Corner, which is this segment where people ask me questions and I answer them every single Monday, so watch out for that as well.